Hey, what's up, guys? So let's talk about the big breaking news that happened today on a Sunday, right after the Nedbank Cup final. Written by a well-seasoned journalist within South Africa, BBK. I mean, BBK is. We're talking about someone who's been within South African football for such a very long time. I've met the man. I've spoken to the man. Great man, I must tell you. Knowledge of football is immense, and for him to write this, I'm thinking, wow, you're really putting your head on the chopping block for this one. This is right after the Nedbank Cup, so you're sort of asking yourself the question, or when was this written? Was it written before, or was it written after? What's going on? But it broke today, and I'm going to read the headline to you. I have to read the whole article. You have to subscribe and pay for it. I'm not really necessarily going to do that, but the headline reads: Chiefs to ex Nabi. The Tunisian coach Nasreddine Nabi has not lived up to expectations and will leave with his whole technical team. I mean, that is crazy. That is like, wow. I never expected to see something of that nature. And when you think about the fact that obviously the Nedbank Cup that has come in, this is the first coach to win something with Kaizer Chiefs after a decade. The last person that won something with Kaizer Chiefs was Stuart Baxter. Now he's the one. He's come in. He's done the things that is done to win it, and you could see the celebrations in terms of what it does. But now it raises the question, right, in terms of what has happened throughout the season. Because the one thing about this season is you can't forget what has happened. Like there's that one great moment in the movie which is great, but you ask yourself, has the whole movie been good though? Like, has it been a really good movie in general? It's got that one nice fighting scene that we all like with Bruce Lee and with Jackie Chan and Jet Li, but like the whole movie, was it really good? And it wasn't. We have to be honest that it wasn't. And the question arises to say, should actually Kaizer Chiefs continue with Nasreddine Nabi? And I ask myself this question, thinking to myself that, I look at the fact that this team went on a preseason in Turkey, went on a preseason, gave Nabi his technical team that he wanted, brought in his members that he wanted, brought in Kaizer and brought in all of them. Like they all came in and all that stuff. And there was a big excitement about it, and the fact that there were pictures and all that. And you're sort of thinking they were waiting for him even to finish with regards to what he was doing at Asfa. It wasn't like he came immediately. They were waiting, and then eventually the season starts. And it starts really decently. I remember the first league, that other league game they played against Sundowns at FNB. I was like, oh, they showed good fight. They could probably get better. And it didn't get better. It didn't get better. And that's my disappointment with Nasreddine Nabi, I have to be honest, because I think we're all aware that this squad is not is not good enough to win a league title. We know that. It's not good enough to win a league title, but it's not as bad as what has happened throughout the season. And when I actually look at even the players as well, you sort of ask yourself, which player has actually improved under Nasreddine Nabi? Like throughout the season, which players actually really improved? And it's hard to find one. Dortmund kept a reasonable amount of level of performance, but other than that, you're sort of thinking like, Shabalala hasn't gone the way that I would have wanted him to go. Dupree hasn't gone the way I would have wanted him to go. Like, you think Yusuf Mart as well. He's obviously had a lot of criticism as well, but he's part of the team. And you look at the team in general and you think, who has he actually improved in the squad? And it's hard. It's hard to find. I think Duba. Okay, Duba's a good shout. Duba's actually had a decent season, I would say. He's the one player I would say he's had a pretty decent season. He hasn't been too bad as well. But other than that, you're thinking majority of the team hasn't necessarily improved. And Ntwari came in and Ntwari went out. He came in, he went out, he's on the bench. He's no more the starting goalkeeper anymore. And that's the thing that I'm just like, I was hoping for more from Nasreddine Nabi. I really was hoping for more. I was hoping that he would provide more, especially considering the fact that he's been so competitive on the continent with regards to what he did in Tanzania, with regards to what he did in Morocco as well. Even though in Morocco he didn't necessarily win much, but he got the team, I think, in the top 2, top 3 as well. And you're thinking with Kaizer Chiefs, don't get me wrong, I did not start the season thinking Kaizer Chiefs should be in the top two. Obviously it's Sundowns and it's Orlando Pirates, but you sort of thinking to yourself, okay, it's Sundowns, Orlando Pirates, Stellenbosch. Surely you should be in and around the three and the 4 and 5 or that position there, and he's not necessarily there. But now Kaizer Chiefs, if they are to make this decision to say Nabi he's gonna go and they're gonna be, and I'm thinking it's probably the fact that it's costing a lot and they're not necessarily getting returns on it. And also another factor that they need to factor Kaizer Chiefs is the fact that next season's a big one. Like now you just won something. The expectation is only going to rise. It's not going to get down. It's only going to rise. And I'm sure even the management themselves, they felt the feeling of actually winning something again. And they don't want to lose it. And I even posted a video before to say they shouldn't take it for granted that even after 10 years, you still have supporters that are supporting this team. You still have supporters that are in and around this team. And also, which has been making the rounds quite a lot, and which I was happy to see that it's making the rounds quite a lot, is a lot of people were saying this one is for Dr. Kaizer Chiefs, and it is for him. It is for him. And in the time that we still have him, he needs to see more success. He deserves more success. And the family would know that, and the Chiefs management would know that. So it's a big one because next season the expectations rises. We're not going to be looking at a team that should be fighting for 8th. Another thing as well as you going into CAF. So it's one of those, the decision that you make has gotta be very crucial. But let's get down to it. Would I be surprised if Nabi actually was sacked? I actually wouldn't. I'll be honest, I wouldn't be that surprised. If he stayed, I'd be like, I'd understand. He needs more time, I guess, and then let's see what he does with it. But in terms of what has happened throughout the season, it has been disappointed. And if he does go, I wouldn't be surprised. But now, if he does go, the eyes are going to go back to the management to be like, okay, guys, you making this decision to let him go, which has been a season that's been under par, and I definitely agree with that. But if you're going to let Nasreddine Nabi go, guys, you got to bring in somebody who can do the business now. Like, you got to bring in someone who understands the realms in which what they're playing in. And when I say that, I look at Nasreddine Nabi and I'm thinking, there is a little bit of him that I feel that he underestimated South African football. I do feel like there is a little bit of him that maybe he needed to get the more understanding of South African football and the cultures and the players and how they play and all. I do get that. But if you're going to let him go, we have to be talking about the calibers of Pitso Mosimane, guys. Straight. Like, it's got to be Pitso Mosimane. If it's got to be him. If it's not him, we got to be talking about Rulani Mokwena. If it's not him, we got to be talking about Steve Barker. If it's not him, we got to be talking about getting Benny McCarthy out of that Kenyan team. But it has to be of that level. If it's going to be a situation where you just going to be trying out with someone else and someone else that is like, we're not necessarily sure about, then it's going to lie on you guys. It's going to lie on you guys. So I'll end it off by saying this. If Nasreddine Nabi stays for one more season, I'd understand it. I think he does need more time. But also next season, we're not doing 8th. We're not doing 8th. So you better be starting plans, investments, transfers to not do 8th. We're not doing 8th again. If he does go, I wouldn't be surprised either because the campaign has been really poor. Let's be honest. It has been really poor. They're stretching on record levels of defeats within the league. They potentially going to maybe not even finish in the top 8. And I know they will be desperate for that as well. So if he does go, it wouldn't surprise me. But if he does go, we got to be talking about coaches that can really do it here. We got to be talking about coaches who understand this landscape, guys. We really got to be talking that levels. And the fact that next season it's CAF, the fact that there's going to be more games, the fact that the expectation is going to be a lot higher, they can't miss on this one. So if they decide to keep him, then that's fine. But the expectation rises, it rises. These fans are not going to forget that feeling they had when that full-time whistle went at Nedbank Cup. They're not going to forget it. They're going to be like it. And you guys are not going to forget it either. You can't let it go 10 years again. You can't. And if you get complacent and you get transfers wrong and you go the cheap version and all that, that's what you get. That is what you get. So that's my final thoughts with regards to potentially should Kaizer Chiefs stick with Nabi for next season? Let me know what you think. Drop your comments. I'll read them without a shadow of a doubt.